And welcome to another episode of Space Oddities, where we're going to discuss everything from inner space to outer space and everything in between. All right, this is my co-host Ben. Welcome. We got a couple of different topics we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to cover, more about the sightings over Jersey because we actually have a pilot on the show, Ben, that flew over New Jersey to see if he could spot anything, and we'll talk about that. And then, of course, anything else in the news or of interest with UAPs or just in general. So, welcome to the show. And I'll leave it to you, Ben, and let's go ahead and start talking about your flight over Jersey. What gave you the idea to do that?
Sure thing. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, bud.
So I kept on seeing on a lot of chatter on X, on Instagram, about people seeing these drones over Jersey. And I think we talked about it in one of our previous episodes, how a lot of those had really prosaic explanations from the videos that I was seeing, either out of focus light sources or just obvious known aircraft, such as helicopters or jetliners. So as you mentioned, I'm a pilot, so I have a small 4-seat airplane. So I did a little flight over New Jersey and then through New York City after sunset on December 17th, just hoping that maybe we could see something interesting or just kind of get a idea of what the scenery looked like. So a friend of mine, we took my plane up. It was a gorgeous night. I'll cut to the chase and say we didn't see anything that is.
Oh, come on, don't spoil it. You gotta go through all the pictures and the video and talk about it before you spoil that, man. You gotta learn.
Yeah, I know. There's too much science.
You gotta keep them watching for a while. So,
well, I'll say there were orbs, so you'll definitely see some orbs in the pictures. Does that work?
What's that?
Well, there's definitely some orbs that can be seen in the pictures. So.
Oh yeah. You caught multiple orbs.
Multiple
orbs.
Yeah, so I guess I can share some of the imagery from that flight. So
where in New Jersey is this over? Like, do you know what part of town it is?
Yes, yeah. So let's start with the actual flight path. All right, so this is the flight path. I started at 44 November. Well, actually, I started at Oxford Airport and flew to 44 November and fueled up and then conducted the whole flight from there. So 44 November, that's Sky Acres in New York, New York State, upstate New York. This is the Connecticut border here. This is New York. This is New Jersey. So we flew down. I don't have the aviation sectional up, but I can actually bring that up. Or not on this computer, I guess. So we flew, this is Picatinny Arsenal. So we flew directly there's a TFR over Picatinny Arsenal. That TFR, I believe, was up to 2,000 feet or it was a lower TFR. So we actually flew right over the TFR. We were outside of it by staying above it. And that was one of the areas where there had been supposed drone sightings. That's north of Bedminster, which is Trump's golf course, which has also had drone sightings, is a little farther south. So we were able to easterly route. And the easterly route brought us, throughout this, we were descending. So New York's airspace looks like a upside down wedding cake. So it starts small over the New Jersey airports. This is I think that's Teterboro. That's Newark.
Kind of looks like a sock puppet like this.
And can you see my cursor just to make sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pointing. So this right here, that's JFK, one of the largest airports. LaGuardia, another huge New York airport, and Newark, a very large New Jersey airport. So we had to stay underneath their airspace, and then we flew along. This is the Hudson River. There's something called a special VFR corridor that allows you to stay under New York's airspace. You have to stay under, I believe it's 1,300 feet, and stay within the lateral confines of the Hudson River. So this is the general route. These airports, this is, I believe that's Morristown. This is Caldwell. So these are all airports that have seen drone activity. Now, the drone activity since then has extended much farther south as well, and north up into New York State area, and then east, almost all of Long Island has drone TFRs. So that's the general flight. I'll start. These were chronological. So this is the aircraft we're flying. It's a Grumman Tiger. That's my airplane. It's just a view from the cockpit. And then getting into, this was after departing. So you still see the western sky. The sun has set. It's darker than this looks, but the camera picks up a lot of light. This is the Tappan Zee Bridge that goes from Poughkeepsie over the river. And already, this is what I wanted to show folks. Already, this is from at least 80, if not 100 miles north of New York City. You can't even see much of the New York skyline. It's down here. But what you can see is these are all airliners. These are all airliners lined up for approach, either into JFK, LaGuardia over here, or
no, dude, those are orbs. How do you know they're not? How do you know they're airliners?
Okay, hypothetical airliners. Let's see. So
do you have any magical device that tells you the other aircraft in the area?
I do. I have ADS-B. So this, you can see some of those planes out. This is over to the east. That's the New York skyline right there. These are planes stacked up over New Jersey. That is Venus up in the sky there. So just to show, there are a lot of lights in the skies, especially in airspace as busy as New York and New Jersey, which is literally the busiest airspace in the world, in addition to like Los Angeles area and Hong Kong.
So this is what UAPX does for fun. We just fly over hotspots.
That's it. Yep. And I mean, this is called the drone hunt. We were hoping.
Yeah.
So
you catch something, I mean, even if it's one of these, Chinese drones, and maybe see a serial number or maybe a Chinese character on something.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it pop out of the top of the clouds in a dragon shape or something.
We would need to shoot it down to get close enough for that. Yeah. So this is looking south. So you see these are aircraft coming into the area from the south, from southern New Jersey, coming into the airspace to land at the large airports. And then
now, I was typing because I just linked the X link on X, of course. But did you say what altitude you were cruising at, or were you going up and down?
We were staying low for the entirety of the flight. We began at, I believe, and this is all it's recorded in ADS-B, so I could actually pull that up. We started at, I believe, 2,000 feet and then dropped to 1,500. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
1,500 in order to stay under the New York airspace. And then when we got into what's called the Hudson Corridor, so this is still in Jersey. When we got into the Hudson Corridor, we dropped down to about 900 feet in order to stay.
Not you froze for a second, but yeah, I think everybody got the gist. It didn't freeze too long.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's got to be something to do with the platform we're using.
I'm
But then
trying.
again, I don't know. It doesn't happen with me either.
I don't know because I actually switched to a MacBook Pro for tonight to see if that would solve the issue, and it
The,
has
the
not.
the camera looks amazing on that thing, man. Honestly, I'd keep using that.
2013 MacBook Pro.
Nice.
Still going.
Yeah.
So some motion in these shots. It's hard to shoot at night from a moving airplane, and a lot of grain because I was shooting at like 31,000 ASA film speed, digital film speed.
Yeah.
So that's why you've got so much light in the sky, is because it's a super fast film speed. So this is how bright the New York skyline is when you're looking east from over Jersey. It's pretty impressive area. Um, I'm just flipping through these quick. So this is now when we made the turn to the north from the south and are entering the Hudson River area.
Oh wow, that's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it's not sharp enough. Actually, okay, this one I wanted to show. So this right here, this is the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. So that's the entrance that you have to fly through the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in order to enter the VFR corridor, and then you make your way up into the city. So right here, that's the Statue of Liberty. We probably can't really see her too well.
Man, I tell you what, it is so much more lit up than I ever remembered New Jersey. Like
It is.
I can remember, like, because I mean, I haven't lived in that area since I was a kid, but I can remember flying in and out of like New York and having to fly over Jersey, and just, it was never like this. I mean, it's like a fucking small sun.
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah,
dude.
and really it
With all, yeah,
it kind of showed that this kind of an aircraft is not a great platform for looking for a small, low flying, slower drone or whatever.
yeah,
Because we're flying high, quote unquote, which is, we were flying very low at 1,000 feet, but that's still high if a drone is only over treetops. And we're probably flying at 120 plus knots most of the time. So that's a pretty decent clip. But it's nice to get a nice excuse to go out and look for something on a beautiful night.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then getting to appreciate the New York skyline and a beautiful moonrise.
The other thing is another thing with the light pollution coming off of that. I'm surprised anybody can get a picture of anything if they're not in the air.
Very good. That's a good point. Yeah. So you get these videos that people say it was a UAP or calling it a drone, and I mean, to my eye, I see an obvious helicopter or airplane on approach. And if it's a video shot from a moving vehicle, half the time, whatever they're focused on, you don't even know if it's a stationary target. It might be on the ground. It might be a light pole. It could be an antenna. All those things are required to have lighting on them. So I'm still very skeptical about this whole drone flap. And
Yeah,
I would
I think
love to talk to someone who's actually seen something, and maybe they would like to come on and talk to us just to hear what someone who had an actual experience says.
Yeah, if you and somebody with some type of video or something, somebody that can show us what, at least be able to have something to show us while they're explaining what they saw, because it's like, I mean, look at that. I mean, how are you supposed to get a picture with no type of glare, no flare, flared out lenses, or I mean, that's so much light. I don't think people understand how bad that is for photography.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
as I'm here with my shitty lighting.
yeah, and I have a decent camera, so it's a Sony Alpha 6300 mirrorless camera. So, and it does allow you to really crank up the film speed. Well, I say film, but it's the sensitivity, the quantum efficiency of the sensor. Well, it's dialable, so it's not the base quantum efficiency, but it does allow you to get low light pictures, although with a good amount of grain, and with some motion. It's not like the cell phone cameras. Those have a lot of processing that goes on, like night shot. It'll give you beautiful sky pictures, but that's because it's doing a lot of software correction. It's doing stacking. It's doing realignment stuff, and all those can create artifacts and really destroy the value of the image from a scientific standpoint.
Well, if people are serious about doing some, like, getting some still shots of stuff like that, what was recommended to me is a Sony A7, whatever model A7 you'd like. Learn how to adjust your aperture for, and check your light with like a light meter or something, so you can just generally check the area and then adjust your aperture to suit, and then make sure that you are not, staring, right at a very, very bright light or something, or if there's no real huge light sources near you while you're trying to take that picture, because it'll throw the auto feature on most cameras. It'll just throw them completely off. So the ISO ratio, how much light it lets in will just be crazy. A lot of cameras now, you can actually, wherever you're pointing it, it has a focus, and then wherever that focus is, that's where it's going to set the aperture for, and that's really, it's either that or learn how to do it manually. But yeah, the Sony A7 is supposed to be pretty good for just about most general purposes, and it's good for video too. Of course, nothing beats a high-end video camera, but it has to be set up properly, because if you look at look at the documentary we shot, one of the camera guys actually got the ISS on film. It was the thing that they were looking at on Catalina Island through the night vision and stuff like that. He caught that on a visual light on his camera, and his high-end red camera. Red is just a brand, but it didn't look. You would think with something like that he'd be able to zoom way in and it would look great, but if the camera's not set up for that, and it's just set up for generally taking people's face and the background is secondary, it's not going to do a good job at seeing something very far up. So there is you do have to do a little bit of homework if you're going to try to take pictures of stuff in a highlight situation. Or, I mean, if you're out in the country, way away from all the light pollution, even the camera on your cell phone will work 10 times better. But yeah, also, like you were just saying, I know I got off on a tangent there. But if we could, if anybody that's on is in Jersey, or anybody watching that's in Jersey, feel free to reach out to us. You can get a hold of me through the UAPX website, or I'll actually I'm going to make an email address just for Space Oddities so that people can email us, and I'll have that link in here. I'll do that after the show, but I'll make one just specifically for sending in questions, or people that want to come on the show. They saw something relevant to what we're talking about. It doesn't even have to be this show, so but
I did here. I did pull up this is the actual record of the flight. So you can see our altitude. I mean, we were at 4,500 earlier, and then 2,500. This is when we dropped down to about a little bit below 1,000. I think it was about 900 feet. That was the coming through the Hudson River. And then
that's pretty low. I mean, you can actually run into drones at that level, because some drones can get up higher than that.
Yeah, well, a lot of drones can get very high. I mean, I've seen some very unintelligent or uninformed people just take drones and put them up to like 10,000 feet just to see how far they can go before they run out of batteries.
Yeah,
that is
hoping that auto feature of itself landing works.
yeah, and that like that's such a hazard. As a pilot, like that's something that I'm terrified of, meeting a drone at speed. I've met birds at speed, and birds are soft and they do damage. I saw a bird punch through the leading edge of a spar of the airplane, not when I was flying,
Well,
and dented the actual spar. So
I'm surprised it didn't. I mean, it's pretty tough aluminum, but still just aluminum.
it's just aluminum, and the windshields are just acrylic or Lexan. So it's the idea of hitting even a 1 pound drone that's metal. Like there's a good chance it would take down an aircraft, a really good chance it would take down a helicopter, because helicopters are just looking for an excuse to
fall out of the sky.
Exactly. Fall
I
into
tell
a
you
million
what,
pieces.
those military helicopter pilots that used to fly those SH-60s in the Navy, the freaking brass sets on those guys. Oh man, I don't get motion sickness too easy, and those guys almost got me to throw my lunch up.
They probably had a wager on it.
Yeah, and all we were doing was flying from the Princeton over to the carrier. I mean, we weren't flying very far, but they decided to take a little detour.
Yeah. Yep.
So, are you planning on taking any follow-on flights up?
Yeah. So Matthew Shadagis, or Professor Shadagis, and I have been talking about doing another flight. Hopefully this time with some instrumentation. So he has the Cosmic Watch system, which is highly preferable. Yeah. It's a very good, a good sensor, better than like a Geiger counter, because you can quantify the different energy levels of whatever particles it detects. So we were thinking about doing that so we could kind of do a radiation profile of the area. And we're just trying to work that out.
It's probably going to be pretty high, just due to the fact that there's so much shit there.
Yeah. So, PJ, so for some pilots, yes. I will say that my goal, because I'm flying my own airplane, is to never make anyone sick. And I will say that in 1,600 plus hours of flying, I have never had a passenger throw up. So
PJ's right there in Connecticut, man.
I know, that's why I'm saying. So, but helicopter pilots are a different breed, though, because they're flying in a machine that its only wish is to disperse into a million pieces and hurl itself at the ground. That's what helicopters want to do. Yeah. So anyone who flies them, they've got to be brave.
Yeah, they're definitely a different breed. Hey, thanks for popping in, PJ. Speaking of PJ, matter of fact, I was just doing an interview earlier today on another podcast. Sorry if that, but here's PJ's book out now. I know that's in reverse there, but it's Shattered Shield by PJ Hughes, or Patrick Hughes. Definitely go pick up a copy. I've gotten to the preference. I haven't gotten through anything else yet, but so far, from a couple people that I know have read it, they said it was really good. And sorry, PJ, I'm a very busy person, and the Stormlight book just came out. So, so the Stormlight Archives is a series that I've been sucked into, and they just released the 5th book in the series, and it's like 96 hours long as an audiobook. So I'm all like, oh, so much content. But no, I'm gonna get to it. You gotta tell me when it's on audio. I'm old. I need my glasses. But no, and I heard he's got a second book that's gonna be out, and I think he said March. So looking forward to seeing that. Any of my buddies, it's like, that's why we do this podcast. This is my creative output. Just like he's writing books, and I got 15 books started with 4 pages written. So someday I might have a book out. But PJ, I'm gonna have to get you on here, man. If I send you a link, you want to pop on tonight? I think you can do it right on your phone. Maybe next time. Wuss. It'll be it might be next week, it might be the week after, but it'll definitely be 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks we'll always have an episode, bar personal crises or real life just getting in the way. You know, every other week we'll have an episode out. You know, so we got 103 people in here talking. I need some people with some opinions other than just people I know. You know, what does everybody else think of these things? Are they do you think that we're about to be invaded? Is it a mock invasion? Is it the government just being stupid? But I think it's a lot of mix of things, a bit of hysteria. People just tend to see what they're looking for, especially when you got all this in the news. So anybody sees anything go across the sky, oh my God, UFO, orbs, oh, everybody check it down. So, but honestly, till I see the alien, it's not a thing. It's not a thing until I'm in a harness mining the earth. But hopefully we will get somebody up. I'll throw a shout out on X a little bit later too, to see if there's anybody that wants to talk about it. X is primarily where I get my news, get everything at this point, because everything else is just seems to be an echo chamber for the right or the left. So so you were telling me about another podcast that's a series. Shifting gears a little bit here.
Yeah, let me hold that. I just wanted to show folks one other thing. So this is kind of interesting, and I was trying to bring it up on my screen, and I can't. So I've got to show you it on my iPad. So when we did the flight, that I can show. When we did the flight, there were pretty minimal TFRs. Now,
what's a TFR?
Temporary flight restriction. So now what you're seeing, and this is a little mirrored. Are
all those little red dots?
Exactly. Every little red dot is a flight restriction. I'm trying to get it so it's not glaring so much. So they're now all over. So this is showing Long Island. Long Island here. It's mirrored. So down into like Pennsylvania. This is Philly. So these TFRs, and they go out over Long Island and even up into upstate New York, almost to my gas station, which is Sky Acres Airport. They've got cheap fuel. It's $4.99 a gallon now, which is better than the like $8 a gallon in Oxford. So now all of these TFRs are seemingly associated with grid infrastructure. So they're only from the surface up to 400 feet. So that really is just a prohibition against drones flying in them. And they're either grid substations, natural gas, or power generation.
Way to show them right where to strike.
Yeah. So that's like
that's I don't think that's a good idea on that one. But then again, it is New York and New Jersey, and ever since 2020, they pretty much just I wouldn't live there.
So I don't know. Like, I don't want to speculate much, but I'll speculate. I think the whole drone flap, I'm at about a 95% confidence. So not quite 3 Sigma, but it's all out of my ass anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'm at a 95% confidence that it's either like just complete coincidence, mass hysteria type thing, or government psyop. and I think the government psyop.
I don't even think it's a psyop. I think that, you know, they came on the record as saying this is not directly any type of military or government action, which means to me, if somebody from the government tells me we aren't directly doing this, when they say those words, it says to me, we hired contractors to do it for us.
Mhm.
And it is a military operation just through private industry.
Yep. Plausible deniability.
Yep, exactly. And I
Pay
think
those poor bastards to take the fall.
yeah. So either they're monitoring the area or they're looking for something. And then of course I've seen a lot of the orb pictures that look very similar to your pictures of incoming air traffic. So that kind of solves my my inquiry about some of those pictures, because you showing me those pictures, I'm like, oh, that's just like the only ones I found interesting were kind of like these orbish ones. But what about the ones that are above the 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 clouds? I did see a couple of them. Now they could be completely fake, but I saw a couple of them that were had the orbs above the clouds.
I mean, if they're
Like,
moving,
no, they were just kind of just sitting there above the clouds.
planet,
They were looking at them down.
airliner. So
well,
airliners, your standard when you begin an approach, there. Okay, when you begin an approach, and those guys are up in the flight levels, 30, 40,000, and even higher. When they begin their approach, they turn on landing lights, in addition to the anti-collision lights and strobes and navigation lights that they have. So a landing light for an aircraft can be seen for hundreds and hundreds of miles. And if it's coming towards you, it's just going to look like a stationary orb. And it could be well above the clouds.
Well, if I'm going to try to find the video I saw, because you'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, so it was during the day, clear out.
Okay.
Obviously, no protrusions from the clouds, so nothing was coming up out of the cloud, but it was sitting above the clouds. That's why it's either fake or I have no idea what it is. So it's supposedly over New Jersey, but because of the cloud cover, there's no possible way that we could know exactly where it's over. And so there's a lot of problems with the video that I have, but it's just it's a short video, and they're in obviously some type of smaller aircraft, and they're looking down on the it's just like, you know how you sometimes get above the clouds and it's just a field of white, like it's a big snow field.
Oh yeah.
And then it was just a ball of light sitting above the clouds, and you know there were no protrusions like something was coming out of the clouds or something like that, and there's nothing behind it so that you could, it was at a distance at which if it was a plane you would have seen the rest of the plane. So it's I gotta find it, because so it's either a fake or it's the only interesting video I've seen out of New Jersey this entire time. Because honestly, there's been nothing that's made me think UFO or alien invasion, or what I have seen is hobbyists and government drones looking for things. That's all I've seen.
Yeah. And there's so many, like the cops fly drones. There's services that look for missing pets that will fly drones. So there's
Walmart and Amazon are sending packages via drones.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing it in Jersey, you know, but I mean, if I were a company, I wouldn't want to send a delivery guy to Jersey, or at least most of Jersey. I'd send a bot too.
Yes.
Could just drop it on their freaking, drop it in their lawn and run away.
Well, you have to do that in Florida if you've got a drone, because Florida man will come out and shoot you down if you linger for too long.
That's only if you come inside the fence line. That's why I have specific directions when I get Amazon to place it inside the gate on the right side. Yeah, they're allowed to open the gate and put it in. But other than that, if I see my ring go off and that dude's walking down, he's about to get a talking to. Read your directions, because I don't want you on my property.
Come announced or don't.
Oh, it's sad, dude. One thing that kind of sucks about getting physically not able to do a lot of the things that you want to do is we got hurricanes and stuff like that. And a couple of years ago we had a bad hurricane, and I put up some corrugated on the front of my windows because I have these huge, beautiful bay windows in front of my house, and we actually kind of liked how they looked, so we left them up. So we got these big corrugated steel in front of our bay windows, and then one going across the one window that's goes into my daughter's room, which I would keep that up anyways because it goes into my daughter's room. But it just shows how because it looks so industrial. It looks like something out of like a bad 80s movie. Like, oh, that's the end boss's headquarters. Look at it. It's an A-team fortified house.
Nice. You need the auto cannons.
No, nothing automated. Automation denotes breaking down. You need simple, bolt action, smooth bolt action.
Old reliable.
Yep. But no, besides that, if the Florida man doesn't get you, it'll be the alligators, the spiders, the scorpions, the snakes. We're the Australia of the United States.
Very true.
Or the villagers might get you. Watch out for the loofahs. Anybody that knows the area will start dying laughing. But
yeah, so let's see. So
has there been anything else in the news? I haven't watched the news in a while. I haven't even really looked at. I mean, barely looked at my. Do you know anything about this Tesla truck bomb thing? What's the skinny on that? I didn't actually. I only saw my wife was mentioning it to me. Something about Trump Towers and a Tesla truck blew up in front of it or something.
Yeah, right now it looks like it was an army guy, a veteran, who came from the same Fort. I think it was Fort Bragg. Well, whatever. As the guy, the terrorist who killed people in New Orleans. So it's suspected terrorism. He had a Tesla Cybertruck that he had rented on Turo, which is like a person-to-person car rental
share type thing.
Yeah, it's like Airbnb for cars. So this guy had rented a Cybertruck, and he went and he pulled it up in front of the Trump Towers in Las Vegas, and it exploded. And there's video of it, and it exploded, and then fireworks went off. And I saw the video, and I thought, is this a joke? Like literally, there are fireworks going off after the explosion, and the explosion doesn't. It basically vents vertically upwards, so the truck maintains its form. It doesn't disintegrate. It just you see a fireball going upwards, and then you see a whole bunch of fireworks, like mortar type explosions. So
it wasn't like a shaped charge type thing that was meant for mass casualty.
It might have been, but he really didn't do a good job with it. He killed himself. So he either, I mean, his life was lost. It seems like it was the guy who planned it and executed it. But in the back of the truck, there were camp fuel, like Coleman fuel, gasoline, and fireworks, massive amounts of fireworks. So it was
accelerants and fireworks.
Yeah, which anyone who knows explosives, that's going to give you a fireball, but it's not going to give you an explosion. You need compression. So
but maybe just due to the fact that it's all stainless steel, even that roll down thing has got stainless steel, so it does provide some type of. So if it started an explosion inside that thing, might have enough containment to cause an explosion. But that's wild though, because I mean the fact that they were from the same base is, But then again, if there was no C4, no fertilizer bombs, nothing like that, it could be just a stupid soldier that was planning on going out hiking and camping later on and had a bunch of shit in the back and decided to stop at Trump Towers for whatever.
Lit a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the imagery of it, it looks like politically motivated, it looks like terrorism, but the reality of it is you chose a Cybertruck, which is made of stainless
Elon
steel.
Musk.
Yeah, so either you're doing it as a statement because Elon is involved in politics now, or literally, like you said, it's a tragic accident, and this guy was getting ready to go out and send off some mortars on New Year's Eve, and lit a cigarette and blew himself to hell. But the thing about it was the Cybertruck held together pretty well, so it did provide enough containment that you got a really good fireball. But the fireball blew out the roof, and the doors stayed on. It didn't explode. It just kind of popped a little.
Well, it was poorly executed, whatever it was, and it's sad that he lost his life if this was an accident. But if he was a terrorist, I'll be honest,
then he's the best terrorist. Didn't kill another person,
yep,
just himself. And
the best thing that happened was the fact that he didn't make it through. But
yep,
it's pray for his soul, and let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, and then on that subject, the horrifying scenes in New Orleans, that's just devastating.
Yeah, I haven't even heard about that one either. Like I said, dude, when I say I don't watch the news, I'm not kidding. So if it doesn't come through like in waves on X, I don't really know about it. So like, what happened in New Orleans? Is it during the celebrations?
Yeah, it was after midnight on New Year's Eve. Another
packed.
It was packed, and a veteran who had converted to Islam, he flew the Shahada, the ISIS flag, from a Ford F-150 Lightning that he had, or electric, that he had rented on Turo. And
but yeah, there's already too many coincidences here.
Coincidences, and
they're both from the same base. Yeah, so this is a this was a terrorist attack, man.
So and the guy, the terrorist in
the fact that this administration doesn't have enough nuts to actually announce that, then just goes to show this is why you lost Biden. This is why you lost Kamala, because this is not acceptable.
Well, and even worse. So there was video as soon as it happened. Of course, it was Bourbon Street. And this guy plows through people, just ridiculous amount. It's an electric vehicle, so they can accelerate ridiculously.
It's got torque, is what it does. It has a lot of torque.
So he's hitting all these people with this truck, and then he gets out with an AR-15 and in body armor, and just starts lighting everyone up and lighting up the cops. And the cops got, like, he killed 15 people, which that's numbers likely to rise. But
I'm really surprised because, I mean, in the South, I mean, there's a lot of people with firearms. I'm surprised somebody wasn't strapped that could have taken care of this idiot.
They might have. I don't know if it was the police who killed him yet, but the shameful thing that I saw was the FBI, their first press conference, the spokeswoman, she expressly said, this is not a terrorist event.
Like, that didn't age well.
Well, literally, when you could already, there were pictures of the flag, the ISIS flag that he was flying from the back of his pickup truck. And so I don't understand, where is the dedication to the truth that you don't know what it is. We're investigating it and we're going to see where it leads us. It's not terrorism. I
don't even know all the facts in it, and I can already tell you they're idiots for saying anything like that. You should never that close after what happened. You should never speculate that hard about it not being a terrorist attack. But when two extremists, people that have gone to Islam, decide to do two things in the same format in two different places, it's not a coincidence, and it is a terrorist act. They're domestic terrorism, but it's still terrorism.
Yeah, the Cybertruck explosion, the person who was tied to that, there's no indication that I've seen that he had converted to Islam. It's only the one who had done the truck attack.
If the two guys had no connection at all, then I would
Yeah, I hear you.
absolutely say, just because we didn't find the flag that might have burnt up while he was, blowing himself to pieces. But two soldiers from the same base, one's radicalized, plowing people down in a rented electric vehicle, and then the other one, and I bet you he would have been in a Cybertruck too. I bet you there just wasn't one available, and he wasn't going to stop his plan for it, so he just went for the next available EV.
Maybe, yeah.
And and then friggin' this idiot in front of Trump making a statement in a Tesla vehicle in front of Trump Towers. That's I don't even think that went to plan either. But it's just it amazes me that they would say that this is not connected in any way, shape, or form, and it's not a terrorist activity. So
no, well, this is the FBI they have a lot of reputation repair to do.
Oh, the FBI is fucked. CIA, the FBI, they're cooked. I mean, when it comes down to it, just the straight, even if like they weren't going to have new heads of those organizations, if they just did the audit through Elon's new agency, they would be cooked. And I mean, the special access programs are done. I mean, you can't account for billions of dollars. They're going to cook them. You're going to be like, okay, well, where's all this money? You got, come on. We're going to start shutting things down, So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens when these audits come through these garbage freaking alphabet agencies that haven't been doing their job in decades. When they start cooking their own people and, doing all the crazy shit that they've been doing. Yeah, their hands are so dirty at this point. I don't even know if there's really any coming back from the current administration running those two. But
Doge.
Yeah, Doge is coming.
We can hope.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can accomplish anything.
Yeah. I don't agree with everything in the oncoming administration, but I do agree with Doge. I think there needs to be some serious accountability. If we're going to pay 47% of our pay to the government, there better be receipts, and there's not right now. It's just give us our money, and we'll just. I promise we're using it properly.
Yeah. And even worse.
Yep, you can have this money because I'm obligated to give it to you, but I promise I will keep my guns.
Yes. Yeah. And some of the things that have been coming out that have been funded, we've been literally funneling money to terrorists. Come on, just not a good idea.
No, not a good idea. Honestly, foreign aid should be put on hold for a while until we're 5% of GDP. I mean, we can't keep up the foreign aid that we're doing now. We need to go back to letting church groups, private organizations go ahead and help with those that foreign aid. And I'm just done paying for the world's boo-boos for a little while. I mean, and I'm not saying we can't go back to helping out people, but when we owe so much, we're paying more in interest than people pay in taxes a year on our current debt.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. That's a big fucking problem. Excuse my language, but that's ridiculous. But anyhow, let's get on a happier subject.
Yes. Yeah. So have you seen the program yet? James Fox's new one.
I have not. It's definitely on my to-do list, along with PJ's book and several other UFO things. But I've heard mixed reviews about it from the people I assume are just, I know James, and I enjoyed his other movies, and I don't, I'm on the fence with everything because I mean, even the stuff that he pulls up in his old movies that he said, it's firsthand accounts and things like that, and hand drawings, and I can enjoy a good story, but I'm still waiting for the handshake and the I mean, hats off to him. Keep digging, man. You do a good job, at least digging up some information that people haven't
Mhm.
before. So I look forward to seeing what he provides in the program, because like I said, I've heard some pretty mixed reviews, and from some people I thought would be just die hard, alien everything, that didn't like it. And
Hmm.
then I've heard other people that have never really been into UFOs think it was like really great. So it's odd. So I can't wait to. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I bought it. I think it's now out, so you can rent it, so it's not as expensive, but like it's worth it for $20. James Fox has done amazing
Well,
things.
what's your logon and password?
um, it's it's
Yeah.
password 12345.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah.
Ben at yeah.
Bennett by
Um,
your own.
and yeah, I mean I won't get into it too much because you haven't seen it
Well,
yet.
what's the premise? What are the topics he's going over for? I mean, obviously the program
Mhm.
probably, I'm assuming, represents the big dark entity that everybody talks about as them, the people behind
Yeah,
the non the people that are holding disclosure hostage.
yeah. So it that's probably the only thing that I was kind of disappointed in is he didn't get into the detail of the structure of who who they are, other than the insinuations, of course, that it's the skunk works and whatnot. But it I liked it. If I would say the phenomenon was a solid A. This is a solid B or B plus, or and some folks might say it's A as well. So it's stellar work. He does have he brings in some interesting people, completely new to the scene, who have he vetted. He does a lot of work to ensure that
Yeah,
the
dude,
people he
he
brings
he
forward are
yeah, he really
legit.
puts in a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of his own money into all these movies that he does. I think he barely. I would be surprised if he broke even on most of his movies.
Yeah, I know the phenomenon. That one he got really screwed by, I think, all of the streaming services, where he just didn't get any real royalties, even though it was like number one streaming.
Hmm,
Um,
that
so
doesn't surprise me. Corporate greed.
of course
A whole
not.
nother whole nother box for me to step on.
Yes. Um, yeah, so it's good. So I have a very good friend who's 12, and he watched it with me. And before it, he said aliens or UFO, they don't exist. And I'm like, okay,
Watch
that's
this movie
interesting.
with me.
Yeah, and,
Come on,
and he watched it
come
and he's
on,
like,
let me
okay,
take you under my wing.
yeah. And so then he said, he's like, okay, I believe in aliens now. So, I mean, I don't know if I believe in aliens as in beings from another planet that flew here in a spaceship, but
Well,
I believe in
I have an
something.
open invitation to anybody that listens to our show or doesn't listen to our show and just knows or hears this second or third hand. If you can prove aliens to me, you contact me. Tell me the whens and the where. And if you can actually prove it to me that they exist and are here, or you can call them down, or you can contact them in any way, shape, or form with absolute proof, I'm all ears, eyes, and I'll make it happen. And I will be your biggest proponent. I will shout it from the skies, But until I have that meeting with them, until I see them with my own eyes, they just figments of imagination until further notice. So, and I don't mean that to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just I personally, I've seen advanced technology way far beyond our own, but I can't assume that it's aliens. You had brought up something earlier. I think it was you that brought it up earlier. If there was ever another civilization that ever developed on this planet, if they ever became spacefaring and they you know took off on a multi-generational ship to explore the stars, decided, oh well, let's go back to our old stomping grounds. By the time they got back, if they didn't have FTL or faster than light travel, by the time you get back, all of a sudden all their people are dead, and those weird looking cavemen are taking over. You know, we probably didn't even exist at the time. You know, God hadn't created us yet. That should ruffle some feathers.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, but you know, they come back and they're just like, oh shit, you know, the hell happened here? And, you know, where's the blah 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 blah? Or, I used to have coffee there. Where'd it go? You know. So, but you know, that's an absolute possibility. They could be from here, just a lot, you know, way long time ago. You know, or we could just be seeing remnant technologies from civilizations that developed prior to us. You know, there's nothing that says that we had to be the first civilization that developed on this planet.
No, and if you look at the timing, you know, that this planet has been here for 4.6 billion years, I think is the
I think
current
a couple of rises and falls could happen in that time frame.
Yeah. I mean, so
Granted, for a good chunk of that, it was primordial and just nothing but a magma rock. But yeah, past that, once things started flourishing and the water was here and all the comments, and you know, once that happened, then at that point, you know, we could have had a couple of different.
Yep.
You know,
rises and falls, and then with not much left over except for maybe some monolithic, megalithic structures.
Well, you know, maybe not even that from these people. I mean, there could be just some leftover technology that happens to you know, do mundane things for them back in the day that we just keep seeing because they continue to keep doing those mundane things, checking things out on the surface, logging, data collecting, checking. You know, that's all they could be. Who knows? I'm just not going to go off the wagon just to, you know.
Well, that gave me an idea. So if I left my Roomba active and then disappeared for a few millennia, what if they had automatic cattle harvesting for making their hamburgers? And that's why we've got cattle mutilation going. It's just some glitching automatic butchering machine that's going around and mutilating cattle.
It's so messed up at this point. It was actually meant for like a different animal that existed then, but that's the closest thing now, and it just doesn't know what to harvest and what not to. So it just takes the tongue and the eyes.
Oh man, now we're getting really into the.
Oh yeah, that'd be nuts. But I mean, you know, that's how real life is, though. You know, that's how things end up. You know, I mean, it's cool and fun to kind of imagine what could things be of, but if you're going to be serious, you know, if there really is aliens and they are here, they're present, that doesn't bode well for us at all, because if they were friendly and nice, I'm not sure that abductions would happen, or you know, that, I mean, everything tells me that we probably aren't in charge if they are. There's nothing that bodes well in my mind if there is an advanced species of creature that is visiting our planet, because most likely they own us or somebody does, and you know, they may have just bought a permit for the weekend. But even in our own history, any decently advanced civilization that runs into a much less advanced civilization, it's always boded horribly for the less advanced civilization. So we're not, if there is aliens here, we're not the apex predators anymore, and we've got a lot more problems than there's than climate and you know, the orange man is our president. So people better start praying that it's not real aliens, or if aliens are here, they were only here 10,000 years ago and we're just seeing automated shit that they left behind. You know?
Yeah, or they've evolved sufficiently far advanced of us that that they look at us with the same inconsequential concern as we look on, you know, a colony of ants or something. Now,
or gorillas. Hey, look at that one. He's smart. He can talk with his sign language.
Yeah, that's true. We
Yet we
like
still
to,
haven't stopped them from almost going extinct.
well, we're the reason why they're almost extinct,
Well,
not
yeah,
not
I
anything
think
they're doing.
I think they'd have a hard time unless they just wiped us all out at once, because we tend to multiply too fast like cockroaches.
Well,
We
yeah.
adapt and overcome. That, I tell you what, that is probably the human beings' strongest thing, is that we can adapt and overcome our situations. I mean,
Yes.
things may take heavy tolls on us. We could end up getting mostly wiped out. Matter of fact, our history is full of us getting wiped out and coming back from it. So, I mean, the tenacity at which we overpopulate everything is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which might be why they might be watching us, because we are a very invasive species. We
Yeah. Plus, we're super entertaining. I mean, look at all the stupid shit we do. We get on the internet. We talk to each other about stupid ideas. I mean, and
sure.
I consider this therapeutic.
I agreed. I mean, it's better than killing each other, right? Because
True.
that's the other thing that people do. So
Life, no matter what people may think about me, life is precious and should always be.
yes.
The only time I would ever truly take a life is if my life or somebody that I cared about was in danger. And then if their life was truly threatened, I wouldn't even hesitate at all. But that being said, hopefully I never get into that situation.
Agreed.
Other than that, I'm pretty laid back and I pretty much just try to help as many people as I possibly can. So that's really the goal in life, is try to be more Christ-like, actual Christ-like, not the church Christ-like.
And you don't even need to be Christian to live by the ideas
Yeah,
of
no,
love
that's
and showing love to everyone and
think
trying to spread positivity rather than fear and hatred. But
yep. And if you're watching now, I appreciate everybody coming on and listening to us rant and rave about all the things that we find important or interesting. Um, we are gonna, unless anybody has some questions or stuff like that, we are gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the night. But here in 2 weeks, we should have another episode coming up. If we feel froggy, might even be another one next Thursday. What do you think?
I think we could do that too.
And we'll, I'll actually read something and watch something, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, sounds
Ben,
good.
Ben keeps telling me all the things that happen, all the nitty gritty stuff. But what's that? Love? Let somebody talk to me. But yep. With that being said, this is another episode of Space Oddities. We're going to go ahead and shut down the stream. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. Make sure that you like and subscribe on Facebook, and make sure you hit your notification icons on X so that you don't miss an episode. All right. I'll see you guys either next week or absolutely in 2 weeks, though. 2 weeks is our scheduled programming. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all. Good night, Gary.
Good night.